What's a mighty good word, party folk? I'm your mile high priest, straight up chillin'. It is Mars's Day. It's the 6th of May, top of the Venus hour to you. We'll likely venture into the Mercury and the Moon. Well, just Mercury hour, right? Because I do want to venture myself into the yoga studio. Many changes occurring in my personal life, so I hope that it doesn't bother you guys that there won't be as many videos, right? So it really just depends, because I'm going to be frolicking around. I should also be working. I should also be making money. And I might be out there in the Southwest. Anyway, that means I won't be stationary. I won't have my desk. I will try to make sure I can record in a way that it's not me just showing up to record. Like, I do want to give you guys some quality videos. More so, obviously, the reading is what matters, right? Anyway, I know I missed the first quarter moon in Leo. What a crazy weekend it's been. Very emotional for me. But in general, it is a marker of the last 9.5 month period since the new moon in Leo that occurred last summer, or at the end of summer, right? A lot of what you decided on could have very well been related to what happened in the summer or August, September of 2024. Fast forward to January 2024. You could have been looking back and addressing yourself then in January, looking ahead at 2025, but readdressing yourself from that posture, from what happened at the end of summer. And now it's on, like now the last week. Well, I'm a little bit ahead. I'm looking a little bit at the moon in Scorpio. Like, this whole month has felt very Scorpionic. Happy birthday to the sun in Taurus. But the last 4 months become really intense in our minds. Like, even if we've moved on, even if we've made decisions, even if we are moving on, even if we're in the midst of like traveling the Southwest. Thank you all so much for being here. I honor you. I honor our energetic exchange. I ask always that our guides of the highest, most brilliant, divine white light protect us as I channel, protect me as I interpret for your divinity, your exalted spiritual evolution, your human growth, human evolution. I'm all about it. My mind is in many places. And I was looking, it was in the realm of relationships and like how much we can learn. I think that's what psychology is about. Anyway, what are you guys learning? What are you guys up to? Thank you all so much for being here. I love to remind you that I'm ever so grateful for our energetic exchange. I do hope to have more videos that are aligned with the lunations and the full moons and the whatnots. Okay. The wild unknown is such a treat for me as I become more experienced, as I grow, and as time goes by. I'm like, these cards really talk to me. And my favorite tarot readers, like Cindy from Canada. I know that's not part of her personality, but Cindy, the Canadian, she reads these cards. So does a quantum queen. She talks a lot about quantum physics. Okay, look at y'all. Oh my God, look at y'all. Are we really here? Are we really in the desert? Don't forget this is card 37. My favorite reminder is that when you are in the desert, you know there's a pool of water, you especially, because you are trained, you're well learned. This is your spiritual training session. This is your spiritual gym. If we can put it that way. I don't want to bro out too much, but you are meant to make it through the desert. You're meant to push through. The only way is through, right? Unfortunately, we realize that part. So we're going through working with the moon. You know, you could have made the decision to leave a lot behind or just remove yourself from a lot because you felt very empathic. All of a sudden, what does that mean to be of high empathy and high sensitivity? Like it doesn't mean you are put above the rest. You are not. You may be a cut above the rest, but we don't work that way in society, right? Like it actually works against us if we are a little bit too heightened sensitively. If we have a heightened sense of emotions, it could work against us. And y'all, I am the most emotional person ever. I like cry about everything. And so I'm learning one of those lessons too that I'm kind of discussing right now is like how someone like me who's like masculine appearing or more masculine forward than what comes after that, right? Like I don't want to hide, right? Like you don't want to hide anymore. And maybe you went to the desert because you thought you had to hide. You thought you had to hide away from the bustling, the city lights, the bustling city lifestyle. You maybe felt you had to get away from that. And so it's likely that in the last 9 months, okay, because of your experience over the last few years, now you want to create a change. So you're trying to, you are trying to connect spiritually, your spirituality. You're trying to connect spiritually and practically. You're trying to make connections that are spiritual and practical at once in the same sentence, right? You're trying to define what that means besides just being like, hi, I'm a highly sensitive person, or I'm a highly empathic person. Does that mean that you can't work alongside, Johnny over here or Bravo over there? Like, it shouldn't, right? Like you shouldn't be excluded, and you shouldn't exclude yourself, and you shouldn't allow others to exclude you. So here we have the thread and the bridge, non-exclusive, right? But you could have also realized that you needed some exclusive time. Like you needed to exclude others. You needed to exclude yourself. It felt needed. It felt like extrication, like not only, so I don't want to bring you guys into my mind, but I hope that I can convey how I experience with my insane, I swear I'm not the only one. I don't want to be the only one that thinks this way, but like because of my insane level of self-awareness that I never wish upon anyone else, I think a lot of us who understand our heightened levels of self-awareness also never want to wish these types of sensations I would not wish this upon my worst enemy. Like I would not wish my worst enemy to feel as much as I feel, to think as hard as I think, to think. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is like, the way my mind works, this is a snippet of what I believe you may have gone through, what I believe you're going through, what I believe that you're learning, that you're perceiving. You made a decision against someone or others. You took yourself out, right? You took yourself out of a group, for example. In that, action that creates that equal and opposite reaction, right? Then you also see how others extract you, or you become distracted, or you become excommunicated, right? Like, you start to realize then when you take yourself out, when you do something against the group, it becomes noticeable then, like very mirrored like. But to go beyond that, to go beyond just, oh, we mirror each other. What you project is likely what you haven't fully healed internally, right? Okay. But how do we actually come to find that out? By performing these types of actions, by giving into our shadow that we don't know very well yet. We say, F it, instead of letting others constantly bully me and take me out, I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to elbow someone and shove someone and run away, right? And that could have been the action. That could be why you're in the desert feeling alone. You're like, where's my well? Mal High Priest promised me a water well here in the desert. Where is it? You're getting there. You went there and you're like, now you found the thread in the bridge to like, okay, there's a reason why I took myself out. There's a reason why I'm in the desert. It isn't just because I said that I wanted to leave spaces and places. That could very well be the practical meaning, the defining moment, practically speaking. But then spiritually, now you're able to see how you allow others, or you were not capable yet of understanding and seeing for yourself, perceiving for yourself how others were not just limiting themselves, right, in their projection of their unhealed trauma and wounds, how they were cutting you out. But more importantly, then how does that setup evolve? How do you come into a group already having that written in your contract that you're going to be left out and bullied out or excommunicated out? Okay, now you start to unwind and thread then to the non-linear, like, hey, it isn't just that you signed the contract that you would just show up to these spaces and that you would be like gang stalked and that you would experience this like spiritual like ascension and that you would have to go to the desert and then because you're so freaking highly sensitive, etc., etc. It's like there is another part to that contract that says, hey, where in that do you allow yourself to go about things the same way you go about them? How do you set yourself up the same way that you keep setting yourself up, the same way that you saw in your family as the black sheep or as the odd man, odd person out, odd child out, right? Like the freak of the pack, or the freak of the leader, or whatever, the leader. Anyway, like, God, the universe, the physics wants you to understand also that within the contract, there is the understanding of your actions and your behavior as you go along in that timeline, and how you set yourself up, how you set others to perform their projections onto you. This doesn't mean it all falls on you, but this is just a deeper, greater understanding of your self-awareness. And then also you're threading and bridging that to help you to realize that you don't need to change for anything. You can be the black sheep, you can be the freak in the pack, freak in the litter, you're the freak flag. Let your freak flag freaking fly. And you're the poet and you're in the womb. You didn't just go to the sacred center. You went to your sacred creative power. And the moon is currently in Virgo. So you could be feeling this physically. You could be feeling like how am I setting myself up? It's like that. It's very much like the power of the mind feeling sick, giving into feeling sick, and then letting your day unravel in a way where it's like, I felt sick this morning, so I went with it, right? And now you're realizing that on a grander, bigger timeline. A lot of this is about how to shift timelines. Y'all, am I here? Because I'm like, what am I talking about? Anyway, look at you. You're very real. You're very here. You're not only not real, you're unreal. You're the poet. You're psychic. You're a tarot reader. And you're allowed to go there. You're allowed to go far out because you have the thread. There's so many things here where you're like, you're a creative writer. You're realizing that you can tap into these reserves, right? So like, while others may picture you as being in the desert, you're starting to realize too, like, there's a reason why I came to the desert, because there are untapped reserves here. There's a reason why that's a proverbial symbolic place that is not considered a reserve. I'm getting chills, but like, you, in your knowledge, you know better. You know, like, just like when we talk about the leader of the pack, like the wolf is the leader of the pack. There's no such thing as a lone wolf. Is there? I mean, I know there is. In our modern society, there is this like archetypal, it's so false. I'm so sorry. It's such a false notion. It's also giving me like reclamation, like reclaim and reappropriate. Now, appropriate your symbols, reclaim them, refurnish, reupholster what was taken, especially like the fox, okay, like the cunning fox, especially like the black Mustang, the black horse, the figures and animal totems like that they can be considered deceptive, otherworldly, dark magic, black magic. Like, they are intertwined in stories and mythologies that are more in opposition of the symbol than in like favor, versus like a white freaking dove. Like, isn't that also just a pigeon? I mean, I know I don't want to get into like all the taxonomy or whatever, but like, you are making connections as far as like the symbolism, okay, mythologies, and how we can laugh a lot at mythology and be like, are you effing for real? But also, it could get you through the desert. Like a mythological, especially like a Greek novella will help you get through the desert. I don't know why I'm going on a tangent, but it is very much like those weird freaking Greek gods and goddesses, those Roman Greco gods and goddesses could fill your experience in the desert up with a lot of entertainment, a lot of enlightenment, and you could learn about the shadow, you could learn about the dramatic intervention, okay? And then you can return to like, wow, I'm very creative. I'm as creative as those freaking crazy mythologies, those Greek gods and goddesses that they talk about. Like, how does that pertain? And that, I know that's all very like simple, isn't it? I don't know. I sometimes am like, do I think that this is simple? Because I start talking to my friend and I'm like, they're like, they're like, whoa, you're both, yeah. So anyway, animal spirit for the collective, please. It's really about spinning it and not seeing it as like just a mirror. Is it really just a mirror? What about how the timeline extends beyond the experience, right? when you guys don't mirror each other? How does then what you went through, how does it apply beyond just, for example, when you and them were marrying each other, right? What does that mean then? What does that teach you as you move on? How can that help you get out of the desert? How can that be the reserves that you tap into so that you can get through, right? You have the cobra, the gazelle, the turtle, the cheetah, okay? This is fast, but like slow but fast. So you've learned about time, cobra, the gazelle. You've learned patience, humility, grace. The turtle, you've learned about the gifts, about rest, putting things to rest, and then home. As far as like home is where your heart is. Home is where you feel emotionally protected, emotionally secure. And then beyond that, home is moving with you. Like home is where you are protected. Home is where you protect yourself. There's a lot of different blends, like word play, that also allows you to think outside of the proverbial box. There's a lot of like looking outside of the box, not being afraid to open the box, right? Pandora's gift, not being afraid and not rushing towards it, not being the cheetah. I love the cheetah. A lot of fire elements here, y'all. The womb, we are very creative. There's a lot to say here about how you wanted to create connections with even people that were like the deserts, that were just very much especially if you are very empathic, you have probably felt like that you were picking up other people's feelings and moods, right? Like it's that sort of effect. But it becomes very real when you are greatly affected. So say you go from feeling lonely to feeling like depressed, and you're like, why am I depressed? Okay. All of that is here. You're like, for example, one, you maybe have been diagnosed with a type of depression in your life, but then you're at a point where you're like, I've already figured out a lot of that. I've already done a lot of work, but all of a sudden you're trying to create a bridge and connections. You're trying to thread. Okay. And then you end up like sympathetically like channeling all these folks' different offsets and like different unstable, ungrounded emotions. You're learning a lot about that. The turtle, like the gift that you have, that you've applied time and effort and knowledge. Okay, that's why this hunter is here, because it's like, yes, you've been through all this emotional, spiritual bullshit, but like, what does it actually mean for your work, your money, your relationships? Okay, like it's coming through. The teacher is very much present. The full moon in Scorpio will be very enlightening in a way where the last 4 months, the last 9 months are more telling than, say, the last 7, 8 years. But it could just mean that that's the summation, that's the summary, that's you actually moving through the desert. That's actually you tapping into a reserve, right? The turtle. That's actually you being ready, but not gunning it, not going for it just yet, because you're realizing, damn, I can have it exactly what I want, but it's going to take me a little bit longer. Knowing what you want, it just means it's just going to take a little bit longer. You understand why? It's not me telling you it's going to take longer. It's me reading for you, your manifestation. What you want will require more than just fast, quick action, which is all very much a part of you. It's going to take a different type of strength, where you're going to have to keep a lot of this momentum going, knowing that you're coming out of the desert, knowing that you can't just bust through the desert, right? You know a little bit too much. You're at a crossroads too. Look, the mouse. I freaking love the mouse. You're like, oh shit, I'm small. But I'm tiny. No, we already discussed the mouse. Didn't we? I thought we did. I don't know. I always discuss the mouse as like, you're ready to take something creative on with the womb here. Let it not be another relationship, right? You have the poet here. You're realizing how psychic you are. It's maybe you want to address those sorts of things before you run out the door to go on like all your next dates through the summer, right? It's that sort of thing. Like maybe having gone through what you went through, having gone through this last week too, that then promotes this like flashback to the last 4 months. Even though you've been accumulating, attaining, earning, wanting, desiring, you're like manifesting. You're finally the year's full swing, speed ahead. You're like new bow on the side. And then all of a sudden you're like, damn, I should have worked on that painting over the last 4 months instead of gotten in a whole new relationship. I love y'all. That's good. That's a good thought. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Wow. It's like the proverbial, my proverbial, I haven't been here in a while. It starts knocking everything down. Where are we at? I just want to leave it at that. You know, Venus is talking to Pluto today. So this is what's going on. Venus is like, how the hell are we going to create? I think you're starting from a different point. We have been talking a lot about that. The origin point. Can you tell us past, present, future? Past, present, future. So look, it gives me that you lost. You realize the poison. Okay, this is all weird and different. You realize that they were extracting poison. So collective, take what resonates. You both could, we talk a lot about marrying, and like you both could have been extracting. You extracted each other from me. Like you were each other's poison, right? Or it seems like that. But in that you discover like, I have to extricate and eliminate, and like the poison needs to come out of me. Like I need to look at my dark and look at my shadow, shake out the shadow, and then integrate, right? Like the death card, transformation in the past. Since the fall started, since the eclipses in September, since Scorpio, the Scorpio new moon in September, more so since the Scorpio first quarter moon in the summer, right? During the Leo season. Okay. Again, we're going back to August, September. What happened in September, October? Okay. What did you decide in November in the dark? You were like, F this. January, you're like, no, I'm coming into the light. Okay. We have Death 13 Scorpio. You're like, in this present moment, you understand, you see fully. You're like, holy, I'm developing from this relationship, even though it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, or whatever may have happened in the fall, whether it was a loss. now you see through the loss, the actual gain, that you're coming to a new level of you, a new level of understanding yourself, a level of self-awareness that isn't just self-awareness, right? That's what we've been talking about. Like, what does that actually mean to be, have that character, quality of characteristic, brain capacity to be so freaking self-aware? It's not just being anxious all the time. It's like, oh, okay, there's now I can help myself before I help others. Okay. And then now I can limit where I overthink. Now I can limit where I overdo. But more, I don't want to limit myself and my self doing. Like, my self undoing is to lead me to self-doing, like doing more for the self and self-care, self-love, okay? In your undoing, in the past, death card, Scorpio and Aries, spring, fall, okay? We have this like retrospective. We are in the spring, or you are in the fall. You were in the fall, we were in the fall, and now we're in the spring, and now it's this whole new level of understanding. I think you also see what needs to go, which I know is the other side of it. It's like you are very single, even if you are involved. And I don't want this to be about a breakup, but it's like the rushedness of things, like where now you understand why the time, and I think we've been talking a lot about that, right, in this reading. I don't know, I went off on a different adventure. Like, timing is needed here with the Two of Wands, Mars in Aries, and then Sun in Gemini, the Ten of Swords. It's like there needs to be a little bit more time given to you, especially to your decision making, to how you're gonna break up or move away from them, or how you're deciding that you can't be going about these sorts of things like super duper fast. And like the cheetah and the gazelle are here, right? The gazelle sits very appropriately. The cheetah is like ready. And none of this is meant to take that away from you. And you're realizing that there are more appropriate ways to channel the energy. Is that the gist of the reading? Appropriately channeling energy, right? Shifting timelines appropriately, not aggressively. Scorpio, King of Cups. Pisces, King of Cups. The decision was always for you. It was always about you. It was always you first, okay? But it seems like you put a lot of friendships and relationships ahead of yourself even. With the Ten of Wands, 10-10, you're realizing all that you carry, all that you have been carrying, and you maybe have decided that you have to see this through, like carry it through, and then you can break away from it, and then you can come back to independence, which is the desert, right? Ten of Wands, Saturn in Libra. And that's the hunter knowing like, oh shit, I put myself here. Well, alongside the people that you've been hanging out with. Is any of this hitting? Collective readings are so crazy sometimes. Look, Son of Cups, Knight of Cups. Healing, moving energy out, healing energy, Pisces, Aquarius, Pluto very much asking you to look at you, Venus finally getting through. Pisces is now applying all of that, okay? Now you are in that. Look, it does have that like hard love, tough love, but I don't want you guys to rely solely on that, right? We want to administer and comply and work more so with unconditional love, right? But it could sometimes involve that tough love aspect of like, oh, I put myself here. I made the decision, even though it takes two to tango, right? Two of Cups, Venus in Cancer. You're like, something tells me that I need time to myself before I rush into these excitable like relationships or friendships, or like before I run out the door, before I end one, like before I end. It's like, instead of ending and then busting out the door to restart something new or start something fresh, start something anew, it's like, what about that time in between? It does give you a lot of clarity at that point, right? Like, it does allow for the vulnerability to take its proper, like, it's the medicine of freaking Scorpio. It always comes up. Clearing the mind, understanding where you take on a lot because you feel that you should, because you feel that maybe you are the knight in shining armor. Maybe a lot of people do consider you as like the mother that saves the day, the father that saves the day, you're my hero. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You are the wind beneath my wings. But like, look at you, how you're ending up. Wingless. 10 swords through your back, right? Carrying 10 wands. You are very exalted. I want you to know that. The King of Swords. Don't let this keep you there in the desert. I think that was another part of the message, is now don't lock in, don't give up, don't give in to that, don't cast yourself out. And if you have, know that you're welcome back. You can come back in. You can come into a different collective. Just because you left one group and then you took time out, that's not the end all be all. Remember, you're threading and you're bridging back in. Wow, the Tower card. Okay, Scorpio, Aquarius, a lot of Aquarius, Gemini, Scorpio, and the fixed placements, so Taurus, as well as Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. But this is traditionally a Aquarius card. Okay, so Capricorn as well. You could very well be a masculine, very fatherly, or even if you are young and not a father, or even if you are a young father, none of that matters. It's more like you tend to take care of people around you. And now it's more come out of your shell because you're finished with that. And I don't want to say that you were wearing false masks or that you were falsely pretending or giving false impressions. No, this is real. You've learned a lot from it. You've also had to undo and come out of that lack. You have to stop being the resource. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see your own true independence. You can't see that you're locked in, but you've compartmentalized and gated yourself. You've severed yourself only enough so that you only participate where you get the same results, where people say, thank you for doing that for me, and then drive the sword through the back because it's like that's all they ever wanted from you. Right now, maybe you've come to realize like someone showed you like how to unlock the gate. 9 of Pentacles, right? We usually see the like very like a well-to-do like figure, a well-to-do woman with the pomegranates and like everything that they could ever want in their castle, and them barricaded, or the boundaries are the gates between her castle and then the rest of the world, right? And we work to earn our position, but then do we work to stay locked away at that point? Do we lock away our earnings? Do we only act in generosity when we know it's going to be transactional. 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands. Now you understand that it's not a transaction, right? It's almost like a trap when you suppose that you can rush into relationships and that you know a lot about them. You're very intelligent, and so you know how to put people in their place, sort of thing, and you know how to get away from bad relationships. Like, it's almost like now time wants you to do something else with it. What else can you do with the time now that you know this much? Look, Scorpio, you're here. And then the Three of Father of Cups, King of Cups, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, masculine. Okay, this Black Swan here, Three of Wands, the vision. You understand what you have to do. You understand that you had to stand alone and stand in high independence, okay, to realize that you were only locking yourself in, no matter if you feel that you aren't well to do. It's like you went for that sort of recognition of being well to do without needing anyone's help. But it's in that extravagance that you realize that you also compartmentalized your own life, and then you became the resource. You could not see through that self-entrapment that you are the resource. So like, you're in the desert looking for the resource. You're like, where is this well? Where's my water? Where are my nutrients? You are it. Okay, that's why the womb is here. And then you have the gazelle and the cheetah, like almost trying to run out, but it's like, you know that if you can ease into it, you realize like, oh, I am the freaking prize all along, right? Three of Wands. I see my ships coming in all of a sudden, even though I could not see past like this. It's like when I sit down and remove what's been held in front of me because I'm doing all this for everyone else. I'm thinking I'm okay. I'm thinking I'm really important, and I'm the driver, and that I'm the most intelligent. But no, there are also moods and vibes. There are also vibrations within you that are like knocking. Hey, you are the reserve. You've had it all along. Maybe someone has someone reminded you of that. Whoa. Okay. I don't know. Looks like someone came along, a good friend of yours, to remind you of how you're not trapped. You are well-to-do. You look great. You're very handsome, beautiful, alluring, captivating. The way that you do about you, it's not even that. It is about beauty. It's about how you bring beauty into people's lives. Maybe this person has just helped you to see how you bring beauty in general, how you are that origin, that source of beauty, right? The desert. All along, you're like, I work to find it. I work to beautify. I work to help others beautify. I wonder why. Because you are like the freaking fountain of youth. You're like you are this wealth. You are the reserve of wealth. You are a wealthy reserve of beauty. And that's not like to be locked away and put on a magazine or displayed on a cover or promoted on the Hollywood screen. It's like, no, this is your power. And now you've been through the last however many decades of your life, and you're realizing that this power is innate. You're taking the blinders off. You're realizing that intelligence can only take you so far. You're realizing that emotions can only take you so far. You're realizing that you want to go further. You want to go farther. Son of Cups, you're ready to move out of this landscape, okay? What's it going to take? First, allow your ships to come in. I'll see them coming in. You're not the mouse, so see your ships come in. You're not the mouse. You are the mouse, but you're not that small, right? Like, the mouse just means like, come on now. You're big. You're the Father of Swords. You're the Father of Cups. And you can ride the freaking horse, okay? You're going to ride the freaking horse, okay? To love, your love, your love. You're the illest, okay? Have a beautiful time wherever you are at. I'll be back. I'll try to record a few more. I do want to record a full moon in Scorpio reading for you. I'll be right back, okay? All the love, all the light. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Hit like, hit share, comment. I know things are quiet around here, but we're a small channel. It is what it is, right? Thank you all so much for being here. I just love sharing. We'll see what my summer turns out to be like. I am a very emotional person, and I've already cried a lot, and now I'm more happy than anything. I'm gonna go see a lot of people, okay? Ciao.